What's up everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on Lexalexus. Like I discussed yesterday, this is going to be the last game week before the World Cup starts, and now we're covering the Premier League predictions. So after this weekend, football will conclude in terms of domestically, as we will be glued to our TV screens on the World Cup. If you guys were wondering, on the left hand side of the screen is the updated Premier League prediction league. So I have managed to update both prediction leagues going into this weekend. If you can see your name, let me know in the comments down below. You guys can be involved in this league by just simply commenting your score predictions in the comments down below. It is that simple to do. If you guys like what you see, please give the video a like. It does tremendously help the growth of this channel. Please do hit the subscribe button. It does really help. And please share the channel too. All of those things really help the growth of this channel. But without any further ado, let's start concluding the Premier League fixtures before the World Cup. So the first game to predict is Manchester City going up against Brentford. So Manchester City managed to pretty much cruise ahead of Chelsea in their Carabao Cup game in midweek. Brentford, however, were subdued to the shock of the Carabao Cup, losing on penalties to Gillingham. It was a bit of a dramatic one because Gillingham had travel delays, so Gillingham managed to go in the end with the last laugh, and a pretty embarrassing defeat for Brentford, you'd argue. They definitely have a chance to redeem themselves, but I do think Manchester City are in great form, great confidence. They've got a good number of players in the World Cup for the likes of Foden and Kyle Walker, so they have got some great representatives for England at least. I think Manchester City will be the favourites, and I think they'll win this. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Manchester City. Let me know what you think of that prediction in the comments down below. Now I've just fixed the camera. Next game to predict is Bournemouth versus Everton. This game I think is going to be a bit closer than Manchester City and Brentford, to be honest. I think this one will be a little bit more of a tighter competition. And in fact, what was ironic is that both these sides played against each other literally in the Carabao Cup, and Bournemouth were the team that completely spanked them by 4-1, I believe the score was in the end. Now, I'm thinking Frank Lampard was definitely prioritising for this game in the Premier League, so I'll be intrigued to see if Everton could potentially redeem themselves and get 3 points in the Premier League, which I think will be more crucial for them. Bournemouth do need the points as well, as they're not far away from the relegation pack. I think, based on a squad, I think they might cancel each other out. I'll go for a 1-1 draw in this game, as I've not been too confident of either one of these teams so far. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Liverpool versus Southampton. Now, I'm going to keep an eye on this one. Liverpool obviously were taken to penalties against Derby in midweek, so it was a bit of a scare for them, but they did manage to go through. They avoided embarrassment, losing or potentially losing at least to a League One club. There was a lot of developments going on with Southampton. They have appointed a new manager in Nathan Jones of the Championship from Luton to Southampton on a 3-year contract. Mixed reaction for what I can see, but I definitely think it's a brave appointment. And I say brave because 0 Premier League experience is something that Nathan Jones has. But we've seen in his projects, especially with Luton, for how he's managed to get the best out of them. He does have qualities within them. I just fear that if it goes wrong like he did when he tried to go for Stoke, it could make things quite toxic for him there. And I really hope he does well, honestly. As a prediction, I think Liverpool will back with a win. And they'll be ecstatic, Liverpool, for them getting Manchester City in round 4 in the Carabao Cup. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Liverpool. I think with their attacking quality, I think it will edge Southampton. Southampton have been conceding a lot of goals lately. So I'll go for a 3-1 victory. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Nottingham Forest versus Crystal Palace. So both teams were contrasting fortunes in the Carabao Cup. Nottingham Forest managed to beat Spurs at home by 2-0. One of their better performances. And we've seen this often with Nottingham Forest, even with last season, that cup competitions seem to be their forte. They need to really work, however, on their league form. With Crystal Palace, they were unlucky. They were lost out to Newcastle on a penalty shootout, which definitely could have gone either way. It was an incredible performance by England's number 2, Nick Pope, between the sticks. So I definitely feel with these two teams against each other here, I think it's also going to be a pretty close one, a bit similar to Bournemouth and Everton. Forest have been better at home. Palace have managed to pick up some good away wins. They actually won all 3 points against West Ham in their last away game. And as a prediction here, something tells me that with the options that Palace have, it might squeak them a win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Crystal Palace, but I'm definitely making it clear that I could easily have undermined Forest there. So I'll go for 2-1 Palace. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Spurs versus Leeds. So both teams had a defeat in midweek with their Carabao Cups. I already talked about Spurs losing 2-0 to Nottingham Forest. It was a very, very bad display on their part there. And for Leeds, they lost out to Wolves. So I definitely felt both of these teams were probably looking ahead to the last Premier League game. Now, the thing is about Leeds very, very recently is that they've been scoring plenty of goals. You know, there's no doubt about it that they can score some goals. They scored 4 goals against Bournemouth last time to squeak them a 4-3 win. And I think it'll be a very similar scoreline against Spurs, actually, because Spurs, bit touch and go. I thought their defence was relatively good at the start of the season, but it's not been as consistent as it was. I'm going to go for a 5-goal thriller and a 3-2 victory to Spurs. I think they may hold on, but I think Leeds are going to give them one hell of a fight. So I'll go for 3-2 Spurs. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is West Ham versus Leicester. This will be close in my personal opinion there. West Ham managed to lose out in the Carabao Cup, losing to Championship side Blackburn Rovers, one of the very few Premier League teams to lose to lower league opposition. Only Brentford have been the only other team losing to lower league opposition from the Premier League. So a bit of an embarrassing one for West Ham there. Leicester managed to comfortably breeze past Newport County. And I think definitely going into this weekend, I see Leicester improving. West Ham at home, I've been relatively decent. I'm going to go for a draw, actually. But I wouldn't be surprised if Leicester could get something here. And I'll go for a 1-1 draw because I bet West Ham to be a bit disciplined. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Newcastle Chelsea. I am not looking forward to this one. Both teams with contrasting fortunes in the Carabao Cup. Newcastle going through on penalties and just having an unbelievable season. They are 3rd place. And honestly, it's a disgrace for me to say that Chelsea are actually less prepared and are the underdogs against bloody Newcastle. But it is a reality now because Newcastle have extended a 6-point gap from Chelsea, which is disgraceful. And honestly, I think Newcastle will continue that form. I don't see them slowing down. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Newcastle. Something doesn't seem right at Chelsea at the moment. I think Potter's trying too many things all at once. And I think he's starting to flounder a little bit. I would preferably just want him to stick with one tactic, one formation, one idea, and not trying everything. I know he's got talented players in his disposal, but he needs to utilize them to their maximum quality and potential. And a lot of players are definitely not fulfilling their potential. Maybe it's an attitude problem as well, which will even make me even more pissed off with the current situation with the Chelsea squad. But I'm hoping there are some individuals that can turn this around. I'll go for a 2-1 Newcastle vote in this game. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Wolves versus Arsenal. So both managed to get contrasting results in the Carabao Cup, actually. So Wolves managed to beat Leeds, of course, but Arsenal, them doing really, really well in the Premier League and Europa League, they actually lose out in the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup to Brighton. It was a really, really good result by the Seagulls, but a result that I don't think many people expected, considering how well Arsenal were playing up to this period of the season. I think against a Wolves team, which it will be Julian Lopetegui's first Premier League game as the new manager, it'll make things very, very interesting. I think he'll definitely improve Wolves' strength in the back. But I think Arsenal's ability to create chances out of nothing, I think, is going to give them the edge. I'm going to go for a 2-0 away victory to Arsenal based on the attacking quality. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Brighton versus Aston Villa. So I just mentioned about Brighton having an incredible result in the Carabao Cup to beat Arsenal by 3-1 at the Emirates as well, which was very, very impressive. For Aston Villa, they were involved in their second encounter against Manchester United. Of course, they beat them in their league game, but in the Carabao Cup, despite leading twice, they lost out by 4-2, sadly, on their part. So they'll have a good chance, to be fair, to redeem themselves and to try and get something in this game. But both Brighton and Aston Villa have got some great potential about them. I think Aston Villa have made it a bit more competitive now with the fact they've got a new identity, and I think they are playing a bit better under Unai Emery now. I think Brighton, you know, I've seen it from my very eyes for when they smashed Chelsea by 4-1. They have a really talented squad and they could really give anyone a game. As a prediction, I think Emery could scam something here. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I think it'll be a bit of an open game, but what should be a 0-0 draw now that I've said an open game. So I'll go 2-2. Know what you think in the comments down below. The final game to predict, ladies and gentlemen, is Fulham versus Manchester United. That game will conclude the Premier League season before the World Cup starts. And what a game to end it as well, because I think this will be a very competitive game. Fulham, who've had a really good start to the season for me, they've been the most refreshing team out of the newly promoted teams. You know, they're 9th place in the table. And I think Marco Silva's incredible work for Fulham has kind of gone under the radar a little bit, to be honest. With Manchester United, I mean, they've just been typically inconsistent, really. And I do think their injuries is a big problem. And it's been a problem for most Premier League clubs, the injury backup and players not wanting to get injured before the World Cup as well, with squads now being released as well. So it's a very, very dangerous situation for most clubs to be in. I'm hoping with the individuals, they'll be able to be professional enough to deliver, you know, a good 10 out of 10 performance at every front. But based on what's going on there, I think Manchester United will feel like that they're being a bit disadvantaged. But something tells me this game is going to be a very, very quiet one. Fulham being involved in quite a few low-scoring games. And I think Manchester United will scrape a 1-0 win. I think it'll be very, very tight. But I think the Red Devils might just get one chance, whether it's a set piece or a penalty. I think they'll hang on with that. So I'll say 1-0 Manchester United. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So guys, that is my predictions all done for the Premier League. And that will wrap it up in terms of the first half of this season, and now we're in World Cup mode. I'll be doing a sweepstake and I could do some watch alongs as well, so keep your eyes peeled on some more content on this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, please give the video a like. It just reminds me out the channel. Please do hit that subscribe button if you've not done so. It really helps. And please share the channel too. All of those things really, really help the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary till the end of this video, and as always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.